Hi everyone, James here from CodeLab, and in this video I'm going to go over how to verify your S3 setup and how to verify that your bucket works through a website where you can just easily test your bucket by entering your credentials. So to start off, we're first going to go to this Medium article that I linked up here, which is going to lead you to this website over here. That kind of goes over the code with React and Express on how to actually do this image upload with the AWS S3 bucket that you just set up. Now, I do recommend reading this over and seeing how this article explains the code, but we are going to go over this code in another tutorial. But for this tutorial, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to scroll to the bottom to this GitHub directory. We're going to go over here. And if you've seen the GitHub video, you'll know how to easily clone directories onto your computer. But if you haven't, you can just download it through here. But the best way to do it, of course, is to copy the link up here. Go over to your terminal and type git clone and then the link. But since I already have it installed, I'm not going to need to do that. So once you do run this command, this folder will pop up right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to cd into here. And then you're going to see that there are two subfolders. And then we're going to want to cd into the server folder. And then in here is where you're going to want to copy over the .env file that you created earlier with all the credential information from your AWS S3 bucket. So if we take a look at mine here, you can see that mine is set up with the S3 key, the secret key, the bucket name, and the bucket region, which is gone over in the tutorial that's on the Notion page. So we're going to exit that. And then so now we're ready to go. And before I start though, I'm going to show you the S3 console right here. So this is the AWS console, and we're going to go over to the S3 bucket right here, and we're also going to want to specifically go into the bucket I'm testing today, which is CodeLab test bucket that I've written right here. And as you can see, I believe there's one object here that I tested before, and I'm just going to delete that real quickly. Permanently delete. Apparently I don't know how to spell permanently. Permanently delete. Okay. So yeah, I'm just emptying it. So yours is most likely gonna look like this. There are gonna be no objects in here yet. But now that we do have our env set up with the code that we just cloned, we're gonna go over and we're just gonna open it with VS Code to make it easier. Or you could open up two terminals, but I recommend doing this on VS Code just to get kind of used to the workflow. And what you want to do first is you want to open the folder and get to this AWS S3 Direct Upload folder. And then once you're here, you do want to hit the new terminal button at the top, which will open a new terminal. And as you can see, I got a couple opened up already, but it's essentially the same process. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, let's go back to directories. So once you do open up your terminal, you're going to be in the main directory of the folder you opened. And so in one of the terminals, you want to cd into the client directory, and within that into the file uploader directory until you're here. And so as you know, when you do clone a React app, the dependencies don't get put onto GitHub too, because sometimes they can be really big. So when you do clone a fresh repository, you have to run npm I to reinstall all those dependencies. And so similarly, we're going to open up another terminal, and we'll clear that, and then I'll go back. So this is the main directory again, and then this time we're going to cd into the server directory, and then we're here now. And then we also want to do the same thing and reinstall all those dependencies using npm -i. We're going to hit enter there. And so both of these terminals are installing the dependencies right now. And so the reason why we do need two terminals is we're going to be running two Node/React apps at the same time, one for the front end and one for the back end. And I'll show you what that means in just a second. So here, if you see all these vulnerabilities, you can essentially ignore them for now. Of course, this is something that we do want to fix later using npm fund or npm audit fix or any updates we need to get. But for now, all we have to do is run npm start, and it should work. And once we do run npm start, you'll see that it's going to open the website just as you'd expect. And so if you can see, it's opening up on localhost 3000. And we just need to give it a second to load, and there we go. So this is the website that's just on the Medium article that this guy made for us. And so we're gonna go back here, and so if we try uploading an image, it's not gonna work because as you know, I've only run the front end right now. And so if we hit upload, I believe it's just going to infinitely loop in this uploading stage. It might shoot out an error, but the point is it won't upload right now. And so what we actually need to do to fix this is, I'm just going to refresh it, is we want to go to our second terminal, which is in the server directory or the backend of our code, and we want to run nodemon server. So not npm start, because this is not the front end, this is the back end, it's using Node. So as you can see, it's listening on port 3500. And if we go over the code in a later tutorial, you can see that we can specify what port we want to listen for the backend to grab from. And so essentially, now both the front end and the backend are running. And now if we do the same process, we choose a file, choose this magic, hit open, and hit upload. We should see that it's going to upload successfully now because the backend is running along with the front end. And as you can see, the upload is successful. Now, if we go back to our management console and we refresh our bucket, we should expect to see that item that we just uploaded go into our bucket, which will verify that our bucket works. And as you can see, it does work. And then just to verify that it works, we can open the image up here. And so every image you upload into your bucket is going to have this object URL. And so if you've opened objects from Google Images or some other image hosting in the past, you might see that the images are actually hosted on a similar link, some bucket name .s3 or dash whatever server location they're using, .amazon AWS. And that's because the Amazon S3 and AWS service is a really popular, cheap, and easy way to host tons of images. So if we open our image, usually you'll be able to see the image right away. But in this case, it looks like our access is denied, which does mean that our image is not set to public. And so to fix that really quick, all we have to do is go back to our bucket here, hit the image we want, go to the actions, and then hit the make public. So right now we have to do that manually, but there is ways in the code to actually tell the AWS bucket that we do want all the images to be public by default. So if we go back, go to this image, and then hit the URL, we should now be able to see our image. And so there's some magical physics stuff that I did earlier on a few quarters ago. And so that's pretty much it for testing your S3 bucket through this React app that you'll clone. And so the purpose of this is just to be able to test and make sure that you did set up your S3 bucket correctly, because especially in your first time, it might be a little bit more confusing. But after this, I recommend definitely going over this tutorial, trying to see what the code is all about. And we will push out some more tutorials, possibly another video that kind of goes over more in depth how the backend with Node works to make all of this AWS S3 image hosting all come together through the code and through the S3 bucket that you initialized previously. So yeah, thanks for watching.